Remembering What Tia Noelia Can't. Next poem by Richard Blanco. The previous poem ended with a plead to his cousin Elena. The poet was asking, please let me know that you will remember me as well as I remember you. Please tell me that I am as special for you, as unique as you are for me. It's impossible not to connect this next poem to the previous one, because in here what we have, it's the lack of memory, of Tia, right? Tia Noelia. She no longer can remember anything. So we are talking about loss of memory, and we're probably talking about um, Alzheimer's. The first two lines in which this is fairly evident and made explicit is when the poet says, remembering nothing, I remember about her. And then we have a long list of items that he remembers. But he is already positive that she cannot remember anything that he's saying about her and her life and those who interacted with her, things that took place in her life. And so we get to a moment at the end of page 69 when, after enumerating all these items, right, all these activities, all these relationships that she cannot remember, the poet says, asking her if she knows her own name, if she knows who I am. No. She shakes her head. So we have an answer. When he asks her about her memories or what she remembers, or even if she remembers her name, her own name, she says, no, I do not remember. Total fragility of the individual, right? It's not only the loss of memory, but it's the loss of identity. It's a loss. It is a loss of awareness, consciousness, and so the poet says, terrifying me that a life can come to an end like this. It would always be terrifying for us to know that one of our relatives is going through this. But for the poem, who's writing a whole book about memory, and who just wrote about this moment of this pain, right? This sadness, deep sadness he feels about, will they remember me? Will Elena remember me the way I remember her? Do I matter? We go to the basics, right? Do I matter for somebody I care about so much? And in this case, then we know that somebody just may forget us, and perhaps Elena may be the person that will. And then who are going to be us if somebody who we treasure so much will not remember us? We are part of their memories, and up to extent, according to the poem, we are their memories. And so we get to the end of the poem, and what the poem describes is the process of losing one's memory. And it's interesting because the way he presents that loss of process is very cinematic. It's like a movie. I thought that it looks like a movie, right? Going backwards to the very beginning of the movie. And that's why he says, For example, a broken string of pearls skipping across the floor like a wave drunk by the sand or clouds thinning back to air, a raindrop returned to the sea, the reflection of the sky in a puddle lifting back into sky. And what I wanted to read also, I skipped it, like petals closing back into a bud. Again, like petals closing back into a bud, right? It's not the unfolding of the process, but it's the folding back, which represents for him the loss, the total loss of memory, the tragedy of losing one's memory or one's relative because they no longer remember us.